Which signing or trade over the past 72 hours has kind of stunned you the most?
Well, if I answer anything but Taylor Hall, Buffalo.
Right.
I did not, if you'd have given me a list, or let's say we were having some fun killing some radio time and said make a list of 20 teams, I don't think that Buffalo would have been in the top 20 that I would have thought. Having said all that, I don't think it's crazy. Like, I don't think it's a pure money grab or like some people are calling it. I think that the money matters in a situation like this when there's going to be big escrow and everything, and that's probably maybe the premier reason. But the one thing I would say is that don't you feel like in the last decade or so, in the old days, if you signed with a team, you knew who the contenders were and you knew who the non-contenders were. It was very obvious. And the one thing I think about today's game is that, yes, Tampa and Vegas are probably going to be good next year, but teams can get good real fast and can get bad real fast. And I think it's harder and harder for free agents to identify if you want to win a cup, outside of a couple of teams. Like, it's a harder choice to make. And that Buffalo could, elevate fairly quickly. I don't think so, but I think that's a possibility this year. So I don't think you go and say Taylor Hall's insane. Buffalo's got no chance. There's probably 20 teams in the league that maybe they have an equal chance of getting better. I just figured if I was him, I don't know what Colorado offered. Maybe that hasn't snuck out, has it?
No, I haven't seen that. No.
That's where I would have put them. If you're going to sign a one-year contract, I would have said Colorado, Vegas, right at the top of the list, sort of thing. If they would have made it happen, in particular, I thought it was going to be Colorado on a one-year deal for sure, because to play with McKinnon and Makar and as some people said, he probably would have maybe played with Nazem Kadri. That would have made much more sense. But I don't think people should say, "Oh, Taylor Hall's an insane or a money grabber" just because he does that.
No, I don't. I don't
blame Buffalo for signing him, right? Like, some people are like, "Oh, you're being used by Taylor Hall." So what?
Exactly.
They're having
I think
a tough
it's a great
time
move by the Sabres. They needed to do something like that, and if it gets Jack Eichel fired up and going, then why not? And if he leaves them, fine. You got a year, and it did something for you. I don't have any problem with the Sabres doing it. It's just I'd heard a lot of. Maybe it was just from buddies texting me saying, "What the hell is Taylor Hall thinking?" And I'm like, what are you going to do?
Would you guys, if it's a difference, let's say it's $2 million, wouldn't you rather have the $2 million and just play there for a year? Like, if it's a team that has a much better chance, let's say Colorado, of winning the Cup, wouldn't you still rather have the extra money? I don't know.
It depends. Here's the thing I would say. By all accounts, Taylor walked away from an 8-year deal at $10 million a year in New Jersey. Mm-hmm. So that's $80 million. By all accounts, he walked away from a $9 million a year in Arizona times 8. There's $72 million. So if it was all about money, don't you think he would have just signed that? And let's not forget, he's made $50 million in his career already. And so, he's not struggling for money. It's more about, I think he's looking at what is the right fit. I don't know where, I think Ralph Kruger sold to him that you're going to play with Jack Eichel, who's one of the premier players in this league. And you know what? We'll see if it's a right fit. I think sneakily, I was texting it with Brian and O last night, Buffalo's at least put themselves into the conversation for playoffs next year. That's not Stanley Cup contending, but it's like, hey, with that top 6, they added Eric Stahl under the radar. They added Cody Eakin under the radar at 2 years at $2 million. That Dylan Cousins is coming.
Is Darlene at some point here going to become a star? Isn't that going to happen at some point?
Yeah.
I agree, and I like the goalie.
Plays with a pulse.
Exactly. Skinner's making $9 million a year, and he was skating all over his lip last year because he didn't play with Eichel a ton. And I like their goalie, Ullmark. I think he's a really good goalie in the making. You could wake up one day and go, you know what, Buffalo's not that bad of a team. Reinhardt's a really good player. That Olofsson had a fantastic year. I think he was close to 30 goals as a rookie. You know what, they've got the shapings of some good things there. He may have taken a look at that and said, it's not a bad option for me on a short-term deal. If it doesn't work out, can maybe ask to be traded at the deadline if things go south. He at least left the door open. That's what I would say.
If it doesn't work out team-wise, it still could work out individually that he could have a big year with Eichel and open
Correct.
the door to sign somewhere that he would like to be long term at bigger money. I do feel it's wrong to feel sorry, I know, for millionaires and such, but I do feel sorry for this year's crop of free agents when you wait for your one opportunity, and it sort of comes in this kind of year. Again, sympathy on a scale, right? Sympathy on a scale in comparison with other free agents in other years, not sympathy compared to the rest of the people in the world. But it would suck to wait for this day and think you're going to get this massive deal, and then suddenly everybody's got to pinch their pennies.
With James Duthie, yeah, it seems like there's going to be a lot that gets reported on and a lot more that we hear in terms of Taylor Hall in particular. I wouldn't be shocked if he was just getting lowballed around the league because, you know, he won that Hart Trophy 3 years ago, and he didn't look great in Arizona. He was okay. He didn't look great. So there may have been teams squeezing him.